York's classic rock, Q1043.
Good morning. I know you're obsessed, or maybe you're not obsessed with Valentine's Day. It's still Valentine's Day weekend, or you could call it Valentine's Day month. And I know there are rom-coms, the non-rom-coms. I want to tell you about a non-traditional rom-com, which you can now get on Netflix. It's called The Breaker-Uppers, and it's the non-romantic rom-com, I guess, or the all-inclusive rom-com. It comes to us from New Zealand, and the women behind it, writing, directing, starring, Madeleine, Sami, and Jackie Van Beek. So welcome.
Hello.
Thank you.
So it's called The Breaker-Uppers, and here's the movie, essentially. These two didn't know each other until they were dating the same guy. Mm-hmm. And then they find out and, of course, scorned and upset, and they form a company that basically breaks up your relationship for you, because a lot of people have a hard time telling the other person when it's over. So your company does it for you, and you just don't have any feelings. And it's a love story, but it's more a love story that centers on the women, a platonic love story more than anything else. But when I said it's all inclusive, it's sort of like, it's definitely a millennial rom-com. That would be the best way to describe it. How would you best describe this?
I like millennial. I like the sound of that because it makes me feel very young.
Yeah, I liked the long lead up to that. I enjoyed the description.
So you don't have to talk at all, basically. Yeah. That was the interview.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, that's
so where did it all come about?
Well, the concept just floated into my head one day. The idea about how much dread there is for people when they are faced with breaking up with their partner, and I was just thinking, I bet people would pay a lot of money to have to to outsource that responsibility, and I thought a terrible idea for the world, but potentially a good idea for a film. So I rang Madeleine and pitched her the idea, and we started jamming.
Yeah, and I just instantly was like, this is a great kind of anti rom-com in a way. Well, just the concept just kind of started out, and then yeah, it's sort of we kind of drifted between. At some points it was more of like a caper film, and then other times it was more of a buddy comedy, and then a bit more of a romance, and we sort of over the years developed what it turned into, which is a millennial rom-com.
Or the millennial anti-rom-com. That would be more definitive.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, like we really think the film is a celebration of love, even given the title, The Breaker-Uppers. But it is like the central relationship is the relationship between the characters that the two of us play, and it's a celebration of friendship, really.
It's a celebration of love in all the forms it comes in.
Yeah. And also, like like Madeleine said, we were very keen to buck convention. Like we'd been, and we love rom-coms, but we'd been constantly fed the same old story. The double church wedding, the heterosexual couples, the looking forward to having children, all of which we love those things. But we thought let's make something a little different. Give people a different ending path or different option.
Yeah, like let's take the pressure off having to, I guess, settle down. I guess for women, like I'm in my late 30s, and there's that I know. I've got a few single friends, and this is a sort of a film for them where it's just like, don't worry about what society tells you to do. You're okay. It's okay if you don't have it all together, sort of thing.
You can find happiness in other ways.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not familiar with many actors from New Zealand, but I was surprised to see a cameo from one of the few that I knew. And actually, he was in studio with me for a movie, and that was Jermaine Clement.
Yeah.
So you have Jackie's, you're in bed with him. That's his scene.
Yeah.
You're having sex.
A very awkward sex scene, that's right. It was a lot of fun, actually. Jermaine and I are old friends, and we work together on various projects quite a lot. And I had to beg him to do it. because he was an outside eye for us, actually. He came up to the rehearsal room when Madeleine and I, in that week before production, when we were still writing the script and we were
New
trying
Zealand's
on
a small
costumes.
place. We all know each other.
Yeah.
Well, I was
we
gonna
all
say,
help
is
each
it
other
like
on
Australia, where all the actors know everybody.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they know each other.
Yeah,
Pretty
They
much.
hang.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And so I said to Jermaine, I said, well, there's a little part. It's a really great little part. Would you do me the honour? And he was like, oh, God, Jax.
Yeah.
He did it, though.
Yeah.
It was fun.
You have your own production company, right? And it's unique because it's female driven. It's all about the women, right?
We don't. No, we actually don't have a production company.
no,
maybe
but-
you worked with the production
Yeah.
company? I mean, I heard
Yes,
that this
yeah.
was an unusual production company.
So Ainsley Gardner and Georgina Conda are two of our producers. They have a production company, called Misconception Films. And so we worked with them and with Picky Films, that Kathu, Neil and Taika Waititi, that's their company. So it was a collaboration.
Yeah, and yes, their whole kind of MO is Miss Picky is very which is what our blended company ended up being.
Miss Picky.
But Georgina and Ainsley, our producers, really get a lot of women on board. We had a 66% female crew, and so we had more, which is really unusual for a set. We had a lot of job sharing mums working behind the scenes. Our head of makeup, head of wardrobe, I think.
And even our producers, Ainsley and Georgina, they did half a week each because everyone's got kids, and we loved that about their way of working. Just that it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive to be a mum and to work in the feature film business.
Yeah,
so that's fun.
There's a big effort behind the scenes to kind of include people as well, which we're really proud of, and feel like we achieved something, improved something. That you can, like, just because you're a mum doesn't mean you have to be out of the workforce forever.
No,
for the film industry.
We are talking about The Breaker-Uppers. It is an anti-rom-com, a millennial anti-rom-com is what if you have to put a label on something to describe it.
I hope this doesn't wake you up in the middle of the night and you're just like, no, it's something better. Just text us. We'll be up. We're jet lagged, so we'll
it's
totally be
comedy. It's a buddy comedy.
And you can now get it on Netflix. It debuted on Friday.
Yeah, on the
Friday
15th.
was the 15th. Now, you made your directorial debut with this. Is this the first time, or no? You have directed
for
before?
film, yeah. I haven't directed a film before. I directed television, music videos, but this was my first film. This is Jackie's second.
Yeah, I've made one. Yeah, my second feature, and
Yeah.
again, I've been doing TV directing a lot with Jermaine, actually. Wellington Paranormal, and then the What We Do in the Shadows US spin-off. I was just over in Toronto in the freezing cold snow doing that. But it's our first collaboration. Madeleine and I have been best friends, or like, maybe not.
Okay.
No,
Oh, interesting.
I'm going to say
Okay.
really, really good friends. What do you think?
Well,
very, very good
I
friends
thought
for
it
like
was-
25 years. Would you say best? I don't want to say
I
that.
just thought it was
blurted
really
out.
cute how you said it, and then you
I know,
kind
then
of
I was like,
backtracked.
oh.
You showed a little bit of vulnerability there, which I really appreciate.
Thank you.
I know you're jet lagged. I know
I
you've
am
been up
jet
since
lagged.
4,
I am
and I
jet
know
lagged.
this
To
is,
their bodies, it's 3 in the morning.
we'll talk about this after. But yeah, I'd say
very
we're very
good
close
But
friends.
it took us very, very close friends. But it took us
Don't touch me.
25 years. I'll touch you if I want to. Took us 25 years to actually find a project to actually do together. So it was a long time coming.
We've done a lot of theatre and stuff.
As
in the
very good
past.
friends.
As very good friends when we were sort of less good friends, and no, but yeah, we sort of wrote the film thinking we'd definitely star in it together. We definitely wanted to give ourselves parts there,
You
but
have to, don't
and then
you?
the directing, the idea to direct it came sort of later, and it was more because it came sort of more out of the fact that we couldn't think of anyone else that we'd want to follow, like
To hand over to.
or follow.
Not my baby.
Follow
You're not
through the-
touching my baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't even. It was sort of out of necessity or something.
Well,
it felt
I don't
like.
know. We were excited as
I think we
well.
were
And
too, yeah.
the New Zealand Film Commission were very excited. I mean, it was ticking a lot
Yeah.
of great boxes for women, with us both writing, directing and starring in a film.
And we'd seen our friends, Taika and Jermaine had co-directed What We Do in the Shadows together, the film.
Co-written, co-directed and
co-written.
co-starred.
And so
yeah.
we sort of had it. We were like, hey, if they can do it, we can.
Yeah.
And then we did.
This comes probably off the wall as a question, but do Australians and New Zealanders make fun of each other's accents?
Yes.
See,
Yes.
now, I don't hear the difference.
See, that's us. That's us making fun of
I think
Australia.
you have a stronger accent. Am I
We
wrong?
have a strong accent. My chair
Is
is-
your
So
chair
it's like-
creaking?
my chair is
Yeah, you
farting,
have
I
a
think.
creaky. It has an accent.
It's sort of going. "Rrrr."
It sounded
Real
like it.
personality.
Yeah. No, we do. We say things like, if we're gonna mock Australians, we'd say things like, "Oh, g'day, cobber. How's things?"
I'll put another saucy on the barbie.
Yeah. Put on a stew. And they say
Phil?
things like, "fish and chops."
Yeah, that's
to
all they
us.
say. That's all they've got. Fish and
And
chops.
socks.
And socks.
What are fish and chops?
Fish and chips. It's
Oh,
like a
you
kind
don't
of
say
Kiwi.
chips, you say chops.
Well,
Well-
in a really pronounced New Zealand accent, fish and chips sounds
Chops.
like that.
Yeah.
Whereas Aussies say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's kind of the only way you can tell the difference between a New Zealand accent and a. That's it.
It's subtle.
They say chips and six, and we say chips and sucks.
I kind of feel like the jokes are so fast and furious, so I assume that there was a lot of improv here.
I assume your movie's funny. I
know
couldn't tell.
the movie's funny, but here's my problem. I had to get used to your accent.
Yeah.
So in the
Yeah.
beginning, I'm missing the fast and furious jokes because I had to acclimate to your accent.
But the great
Is
thing
that
is,
bad?
no, on Netflix you can just see it again and
That's
again
true.
and again.
Yeah.
We opened the film last March at South by Southwest, and as the lights were going down, there was that
was-
flickering
yeah.
thought of going, "Oh, I wonder if they'll be able to understand us." But they did. Hey, the audience laughed in the right places. They cheered along.
Yeah. It was great, actually.
Real fast, because we're coming up on the Oscars, what movies and acting performances did you love this year?
Do you know what I've just seen? And I bloody loved it. And I don't think it's it can't.
Stop moving on the chair. I'm sorry, I can't
I'm just
concentrate.
gonna look. I'm just gonna squat. I'm
Watch
gonna
it. Be
pop a
careful of your
squat.
back. Be careful.
Okay, no, squatting's good.
I'll raise the mic.
Oh, there we go.
you to be on.
There we go.
Or feel
What do you
like
mean?
you
It's a
have to
workout. It's a
exercise
workout.
while you're doing this.
Is Darren Criss in the Gianni Versace
I missed that.
TV show is amazing. I wish he could win an Oscar. That's one of my favourite performances this year.
One of my favourite performances was Madeleine Sami, actually, in The Breaker Upper.
Yeah,
as a
why isn't The
millennial
Breaker
comedy.
Uppers up for an
Well,
Oscar?
It's not really
at
asking.
least until this year, so it can't
Yeah, it
be
Next year
nominated.
we'll be up.
Yeah,
We'll be up.
for sure.
in 2019 it can be nominated.
What else is? I just saw Glenn Close in that film. I mean,
The Wife.
the wife. Yeah,
I
she's
thought
pretty
she was
amazing.
great, but I thought the story was totally
Yeah, it was-
unbelievable.
it was-
Like in today's world, really, the husband is using the wife's work, and this never
just
comes out,
was-
and she puts up with it all these years. I didn't buy it.
Yeah, I didn't kind
didn't
of. There
buy
was
it.
something I didn't buy about it, but I mean, I
She's a
kind of
heavy
love.
hitter, though.
I love her in anything. Probably, I'd love
Yeah,
her.
she's great, and she's never won an Oscar, which is
That's
kind of
unbelievable. That's
shocking.
shocking.
Shocking, yeah.
Melissa McCarthy's pretty amazing in the.
She was wonderful.
These are all films that I've watched on the plane.
On the
way
plane,
over.
eh? Whereas I just watched
Because
TV
it's a very
shows.
long flight.
Yeah, I haven't seen A Star Is Born yet. I do want to see that.
I know. I just listened to an amazing interview between Oprah and Bradley Cooper, and I really want to see that film.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to cry the whole way through, and I'm looking forward to that.
Have you seen any films that are in the Oscars, Jackie?
Ooh, I've seen The Breaker Uppers. Now, is that nominated, or is that nominated? I think that's a long nomination for
And
next
we're
year.
out of time. But you can see The Breaker Uppers on Netflix. And I thank you, Madeleine Sami and Jackie Van Beek. And I understood every word.
Oh, thank you.
I'm really acclimated.
From us
I
too.
love that word acclimated. I'm going to try and use that a few times today.
New York's classic rock, Q1043.